It's very high on the list of everyday worries for most of us.
And maybe more so, I think, around this time of year, right? So if you feel like you're at the end of your rope, really at the end of your rope with your finances, we have help for you this morning. Jamie and Felicia Miller are attorneys at the law firm of Miller and Miller. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Good morning. Both of you specifically just deal with bankruptcy law, bankruptcy type situations. What are people finding? What kind of circumstances are you seeing with your clients?
You know what, it really is, just as you say, circumstantial. It's people who are getting divorced, perhaps, people who got into a car accident, people who lost their job, don't have medical insurance, have huge medical debt. It's typically not people necessarily who've run up huge credit card debt. It's, you know, something that people have often thought of, that maybe it's because of some sort of abuse or neglect, and that's definitely not what we see in the practice.
Sometimes it's something that happens to us, like you mentioned, medical situations and not having insurance. My sense is that you probably talk to people when they're really at probably one of the lowest points of their lives, and so I would think that you have to treat your clients with a lot of sensitivity.
We do, and people really tend to come to us at their lowest point, and we try to offer them an environment to help them make them feel comfortable. Oftentimes we have people that come in and they're facing the loss of their home. As you know, we're going through a major foreclosure crisis in our country and in our community. I mean, there's over 5,000 foreclosures filed in the state of Wisconsin just in November.
Wow.
And those numbers are staggering, and we're very busy now trying to help those people resolve their problems with their mortgages to help them save their homes.
And for people who are contemplating filing for bankruptcy, what are some of the advantages in that situation? But there are also disadvantages, because it's kind of a last resort. You don't want to do that right away, right?
No, it definitely is a last resort. But we do examine all of their options. When someone comes into us, it doesn't mean that automatically they need a bankruptcy. A lot of times people just don't understand their financial problems, or perhaps they're afraid to face, you know, the different financial aspects of their life. So when they do actually pick up the phone and make the call to us, we try to have them come in and sit down with them and, you know, lay out all of their options and explain exactly what's happening and give them, you know, some peace of mind.
I would think you're part counselor and part attorney, because like I said, it's a low point for people. Let's break it down a little bit, because you talked about foreclosures being a problem in our country. They're up something like 70%. So how can you mentioned helping people save their homes? Oh, here's a good illustration, I guess, with the numbers on where we stand with foreclosures. Can you walk us through this before I ask the next question?
Yeah, absolutely. In 2006, foreclosures were at $1,600 a month in November of 2006, and they've gone up 31% just this year to November of 2007. And what had happened in 2001, after 9/11, the stock market had dropped, and people were looking for other areas and other places to invest their money, and they thought it would be great to put money into real estate. Interest rates were low, and as time went on, interest rates slowly began to climb up. Banks during 2003 and 2004 started to lend money a lot easier than they had in the past. It was very easy for people to go in and get money to purchase homes. As interest rates climbed, people began to find that their mortgage payments were going up. A lot of people entered into adjustable rate mortgages and were attracted into that product, the adjustable rate mortgage, by the low monthly payment. Well, now we're starting to see interest rates climb, and they're seeing their monthly payments climb, and they're not able to meet their monthly obligations, and they come in and talk to us, and we do what we can to help them.
And so one of the things you said is helping people save their homes. So how do you do that? How do you go about figuring that out for people?
Oftentimes when someone comes to our office, they're 2-3 months behind on their mortgage payments, or their homes are in foreclosure. They come to us and they're very desperate. I mean, everybody wants to save their home and do everything they can to stay in their home. we're able to offer them something called a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, which is one of the options among other options that we discuss with them. But in particular, a Chapter 13 is an option that gives them an opportunity to get caught back up on their mortgage payments again. So if someone's 3 or 4 months behind on their mortgage payment, the Chapter 13 takes the amount that they're behind on their mortgage payment, puts it into a repayment plan, allows them to pay that back over a period of time of up to 5 years, and then start making their regular monthly mortgage payments again.
I think it's really important to seek out a lawyer's advice because the laws have changed a lot, especially, I mean, just over in the last couple of years, correct?
Yes, the laws have changed, and actually, I think for a while people were assuming that bankruptcy was no longer an available option. I think that was the general public perception, that bankruptcy was just gone.
Yeah.
And that's really not at all the case. In fact, you can still file Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 bankruptcy for consumers, but there are some new hoops to jump through and some additional costs, but we certainly walk everyone through it.
And you give free consultations for anyone who's interested in pulling out all those bills that maybe they've hidden in some drawer and they don't want to look at it, but it's time to pull those out, get your financial life straight, come see you for a free consultation. We ask a lot of our guests, do you have a special offer? You put down kindness.
I was just going to mention
As a
that.
husband and wife team, kindness is important to you at Miller & Miller, correct?
Absolutely. You know, we're really very sensitive. We understand that this is very difficult for people. It's not fun. You know, if you've lost your job or you're facing a foreclosure or you're losing your car, you know, these are really very stressful things for people. And when we have someone sit in our office, we know that this is not someplace they really want to be. And we're very sensitive to that and do everything we can to walk them through the process and hold their hand through it and make it, you know, better for them.
Well,
that's
and
our
that
goal.
family atmosphere, because you're a couple, I think probably comes through, and I can sense it from you too. It was really nice to meet both of you, and I think the work you do is really important, especially now with foreclosures the way they are. There's the information on our screen if you'd like to get in touch with Miller & Miller. It's 414-277-7742, and there's a website too. Happy holidays to both of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely.